April 21, 2021. First item on the agenda this evening is the Lee application on 1086 Johnson Road, an application for construction of a two-car detached garage. To me, it looked like this was something that we could probably delegate to you, Chris. Do you agree? Or
That would be fine.
is anybody from the applicant planning to be here? Do you know? Or
I invited them, but I do not see anybody here.
okay, we can pass that for the time being, then I guess. And
See if
somebody
somebody
comes.
shows up. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So why don't we do that? So moving right along, 15 and 21 Wolf Tree Drive. The cease and desist order and the application for remediation. Attorney Pellegrino had sent us an email saying that they were having trouble getting a surveyor to determine where the boundary line is. So therefore, he had asked that that be passed till next month. So we're moving right along. So Mr. Trey, you're up next. 22 Rimmon Road, application for remediation work adjacent to wetlands in response to cease and desist order. So I see you submitted an application. If you want to just tell us a little bit about what your plan is. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, the plan was to remove some dead trees and some overgrowth of brush around the area. I wanted to enhance the waterway. Basically, what we could see from the road and from our house was a bunch of barberry bushes, basically, and some dead trees with broken limbs. So what we wanted to do was to remove the dead trees, the limbs, and the brush.
This is his daughter here, Allison, and a lot of that work actually was done, and the cease and desist order came into place. So really, we just want permission to kind of remove those logs that are currently down on the ground, and the brush that's currently in piles right now.
Okay. Did you have the application just talked about various plantings you plan to put there? Do you have any more detail, or maybe what I should do is maybe you could work with Chris as far as fleshing out a little bit more of the detail on that at some point soon. So
yeah, we can definitely work with. We do have a general plan to plant some bushes and river birch and some other trees that would be helpful in that area, but as far as like where the tree will go exactly, we don't have a specific plan.
okay. Hey Chris, do you think you would be able to sort of work with them as far as approving like a final scheme of and what's going to be planted there?
We could probably meet out at the site and then go over. It's probably easier just to be at the site to see where things would go. I mean, the trees, obviously, if they're dead, we just don't want them stumped. They can get cut down, even with the ground. But that close to the stream, they shouldn't be stumped.
Well, would it be possible to have a planting plan, if you will, so that we have something that is approved and that we can then at some point in time go back and see that what was done matches up with what the plan was, which will be supposedly approved by the commission.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Mr. Reether?
Yeah, yes.
We're not on you at the moment. We're talking to another applicant.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse
Okay.
me.
We'll be getting to you shortly. So I guess what may make sense is, and we don't want to like overcomplicate this process, is if you can meet with Chris and just sort out at the site and just on your sketch here, just place a little spot, say this tree will be here, this tree will be there, I mean, we're not expecting you to have a surveyor go out there and pinpoint exactly where it'll be. But if you can add some more detail as to what plantings you intend to put there, where you intend to mulch things or whatever, and then just maybe next month we could just approve it so we could get this done and behind us. In the meantime, I don't think anyone here has any problem with you taking out, the down trees and the branches and that kind of thing, just to, start working on it. But we kind of need to have something with a little bit more detail to show what, like as Jack mentioned, after the fact, okay, yeah, this was what was approved. So
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we didn't have a lot. I mean, our initial plan was simply to see what we have and to remove the items that obviously were not healthy, and then go from there. So not knowing exactly what we needed to get done as far as the wetlands agency and everything, we hadn't gone through all that detail I mean, I did look at the Connecticut state site that recommended some trees and bushes that would do well in that kind of environment. So we were going to stick to that list.
okay, well, and like I said, you could just put like a little mark in one spot, like an A is a red maple or a blueberry bush or something like that, and then just point out, just plot it a little bit on that map that the assessor's map or GIS map that you were using anyway. Don't need to be much more complicated than that in my mind. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And that would be great, Chris, if you wanted to come out and we can kind of look at the area, especially once we've cleared out all of these dead logs that are just kind of piled up. And we can really kind of show you, what we're thinking as far as where a plant would go, where a tree would go, where would be best to kind of do those things.
Okay, then you can you can email me. Obviously, you've got my email, and we can set up a time for me to come out, during the day when I could meet with you.
That'd be perfect.
And
Okay.
just to come, sounds like we're okay with currently just, taking out the current debris, as long as there's no heavy equipment in that area at all. Sounds like that's the case.
That's correct.
Okay.
right, and that way you have a better idea what you can plant where, and I think that would be helpful. So okay.
Thank
All
you
right,
very
so
much.
what we'll do is, unless somebody else has other questions or comments, we'll just continue this till next month, and hopefully by then we'll just have a little plot plan as to where you're going to put various things after you meet with Chris.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Anybody else have any other comments or questions of them?
No, I don't.
Okay, then we'll see you folks next month, and you can meet with Chris in the meantime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks
Okay.
very much.
Thank you. Yep, you're welcome. Okay, Mr. Ryther, you're up next. So
Thank you.
I was just curious what the status of the matter is, if you want to start there.
If I may, Mark and I met and we've had email communication. We've met with Larry the tree, my arborist, who's very well informed. Mr. Estra has been congenial and very cordial, and I thank him for that neighborly circumstance. And he's agreed, and Larry's helped us designate an area of, I think it's 8 to 10 trees. And what Mr. Estra selected at the recommendation of Larry were 8 red maples. And I say this in conjunction with the circumstance that I'm going to be walling off the area that I opened up. Good evening, Mr. Goldberg.
I had problems.
Oh, no worries. The circumstance is I'm going to wall off the whole opening that I made with giant green douches, and that's going to be done by Capola Landscaping. I was afforded the application to make the zoning regarding the appropriate plantings, and I think that Mr. Estra and I may be able to do that very easily. And if I may remind the commission, I do not necessarily agree that there was any intrusion upon the wetlands. And I do want to make that a matter of record, that statement. However, I have no problem with accepting jurisdiction for the purposes of recordation of Mr. Estra's and my agreement. And again, I apologize as a matter of record to Mr. Estra. I thank him for his congeniality. And I think we've afforded each other assurances that the border is going to be much more aesthetically pleasing with a lot more protection. And I thank the commission for their service, and it's well done.
Bob, you're muted. You're still muted. There you go.
Yeah, there I am. So what we can expect for next month then is some kind of, just plan. It doesn't have to be in a lot of detail as to where you plan to put these trees. And then if you and Mr. Esther agree, you may want to just meet with Chris also. Not that I want to have Chris just running all over town, but it may make sense to help move things along for Chris to be out there and maybe meet the two of you and just, she can share her thoughts as to what your plan is, and they'll help move things along.
My pleasure, and I reiterate, I thank Mr. Estra. He's a gentleman and a great neighbor. I'm sorry I had to meet him under this circumstance.
Well, we're happy we could bring you together. So.
Well, we're taking care of it in Woodbridge fashion.
Mm-hmm. All right, then I guess, like I said, I don't want to monopolize the conversation. Jack or Barry or Josh, you have any comments or questions?
No, my only comment again is a plan of, sort of a plan of record that we have. At some point in time, we can verify what was done versus the plan.
Right.
I will submit the plan, ask for Christine Sullivan's input, and we will guarantee that the work was performed in accordance with the plan, please. And thank you.
Okay, looks like I'm having a problem now. Oh, okay, I'm back. Technology. All right, well, we thank you for that. And we'll look forward to hearing from you and seeing you next month and hopefully getting this wrapped up because it's a great time of year to get, something planted and seeded. So
Agreed. Thank you, gentlemen and lady.
okay.
Good evening. Stay safe.
Thank you. All right. Nobody's still here on Johnson Road, right, Chris?
I don't see anybody now.
Yeah. I mean, the proposed garage is in a grassy area already. So I don't have any problem delegating it to you. But I'd like to hear from everybody else as to what they think.
Chris, have you been out to the property, or is there anything of any concern?
I have driven by it and I don't believe there's anything that we, as Bob says, it's in a currently grassed area, so. Aside from fun, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I do remember years ago though there was some clearing done on this property, but it's not really near where they're planning on putting the garage. This is next to Joe Hellauer's house, and I know something had been cleared on this property, couple 3 years ago, but I think the garage is where it was grassed before anyway.
So we'll just, I'll just make sure that if there's any material that they have to excavate to do the foundation, that's either removed off site or put in a location where it won't have any, erosion occurring into the on-site wetlands.
Sounds simple.
Yeah, I think this one is. So.
Yeah, I'm okay with it going to Chris.
Okay, then we have a motion to delegate the matter to Chris then.
I'll so make a motion.
Okay, you have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh,
Right.
Barry. Okay, Jack moved, Barry seconded, all in favor? Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4-0 approved then, okay. Let's see, what else do we have left here?
I didn't give you any minutes, so you don't have any.
Yeah,
minutes.
that's okay. We don't need those today.
Oh, you have a
Yeah,
bond
the
release.
bond release. Yeah, the bond, Igor Zach was looking for release of the bond on 12 Zach Hill Drive. Chris went out there, I went out there. It was for sediment and erosion control, basically, until the site was stabilized when he put a septic system in the lot. I was out there today. Everything's grassed over and well stabilized. I don't see any reason why we can't release the bond.
Yeah, that makes
we-
sense. It's because if anything else is done there, it'll come back through us and
It will.
Right.
yeah, so that's,
We had asked Jim Preedy to go, but Jim unfortunately contracted COVID, so that's why Bob and I went out.
okay.
So do we have a motion to release the bond then?
So moved.
Josh moved. We have a second.
I'll second it. This is
Jack
Jack.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or objections? Okay, 4-0 approved. Enforcement officer report, Chris. Anything going on we need to know about?
Actually, I had a little list, so hang on a sec.
Okay, that's not a good sign.
I did go out to One Pine Ridge. They have a little stream that goes through the westerly side of the property, and he's just gonna go in and remove some dead branches that are in there, and he's also gonna dig up some invasive multiflora rose and barberry, and just leave the leaf litter that's there. There's also pachysandra, ivy, trout lily, already established. So with the barberry and multiflora rose out of the way, hopefully that'll take over some more too. So I did go out there. 91 Forest Glen, we had a call from some neighbors who were concerned. They had gotten notified over the weekend that there's blasting that has to occur for the foundation. One of the neighbors was concerned that it was that it was going to either occur in the wetlands or affect the wetlands. But there is no activity that you approve directly in the wetlands, and the closest part of the deck is 65 feet away and the house is 85 feet away. And blasting isn't, the big kaboom that we come to think that it might be. It's just a little poof. But we'll keep an eye on it when it's out there. And then 65 Ansonia Road, I did go out and meet with the property owner. She will be submitting an application to you. They did add on to a deck at the back. It didn't do anything towards the wetlands, but I reminded her we need a restoration plan, so she has contacted another individual to assist her with that. The first person that she had unfortunately had passed, and so she will be submitting an application to you, hopefully for the May meeting, for some restoration plantings along the water course and wetland adjoining her property to the
Chris,
west.
is that the house near the power lines there that we dealt with
Yeah,
a
that's
couple?
the house near the
Oh.
power lines. And then I think I forwarded it to you, 220 Seymour Road. He wanted to know if he could put in
Oh, the dock.
a removable dock or a permanent dock. So that's up for your whatever direction.
Well, I mean, we need an application, so he's got to decide what he wants to do first, so.
Well, he would prefer to do the removable one, but he wanted to know if the commission had, or the agency had a preference as to removable or stationary.
I think I know so little about the dock, I don't even know how to ask.
I guess what I would ask is, it seems to me, I mean, that was a disturbed area that was under a cease and restore, which was restored, but now putting a movable dock means that you're going to be moving something back and forth over the
area that was
in the
reclaimed.
area, yeah, in the area. And if you put in a permanent one, you're going to have to be, I don't know how one builds a permanent dock, if it's machinery or people walk through it and you sink pilings and, I mean, it just,
I think
it
in the
doesn't seem,
video, it showed the particular dock in the video was on wheels, and they put it in the water in April and then took it out in September. That was my grasp of it,
Yeah,
the video.
So his idea is it's removed seasonally. It's not removed every time he needs to get out there. Then is that the case?
Correct.
That's what the generic video showed, but I mean, you wouldn't want to do all that work to pull it in and out every day or every,
no, that would even
if
be
it was the
worse.
voting season, so.
But if you will, the shoreline, if I can use that term, it seems like it's not going to be, it's not cement or anything hard. It's going to be soft and it's going to be, I don't know, grass or some sort of foliage in there. It's going to get disturbed again. I mean,
Well,
and what happens with the boat? Does the boat stay out there all the time, or do they haul the boat out? Does the boat
right.
go onto the dock, or do you drive something out on, you drive a truck up and then haul the boat out, or?
I don't think it's that big a boat. I'm not sure.
I mean, I would expect it to be a rowboat out there.
Right. Or a
Well, what you
canoe or a kayak.
Yeah, what you talked about is that what wasn't like the first 14 feet isn't deep enough to have a boat that, isn't deep enough to, provide enough water to float a boat basically. So that's why he wanted to put a dock there. I know our dock in Rhode Island, I pull it out every winter just because the winter would destroy it. But, so I guess that's what he's thinking about. But,
I mean, this is the kind of activity that under section 4, permitted uses as of right and non-regulated uses, boat anchorage or mooring is something that's classified as as of right, but it needs to come before you for a concurrence that that's what it is. And then under section 4.2, fishing likewise is something that's allowed, but that's not talking about creating a dock.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, a mooring would just be, a cement ball that they drop there to tie the boat to, basically. So it's a lot different than I think than a dock that's to be installed, even if it's taken out seasonally.
Well, I mean, if we're going to, we need something to look at. So like Bob said, I guess a permit with some detail as to what the dock is and how it's going to be used and how the
Okay, so
ingress and egress of the dock goes
I'm
along.
learning as I listen, but it seems like the goal of our agency would be to have whichever dock disturbs the wetlands the least. And that's what he should offer us.
Given the fact that the area near the pond was supposed to be left in its natural area,
Right.
although it has a path going out to the pond. I don't know. I just think it would probably make more sense to have it be a permanent dock that's not brought in and out. But I don't know. He should decide what he wants and then propose it, and then we'll have to deal with it.
Okay, so I'll tell him he needs to make a formal application. And you would prefer, for the dock, whatever is the least intrusive into the wetlands itself.
Right.
The water level, how do we know how much change in the water level there is in that pond? And there's obviously no significant tides.
There's the inlet that comes in from further up on, I guess it's Fieldcrest, that got dredged a few years ago. There's the stream that comes down that actually feeds in part from Meadowcrest, and a little part from Elderslie, where we looked at 15 Meadowcrest, where there was the waterway that the Suez Canal, in a sense, that connected from Elderslie down to Meadowcrest. And then that feeds through that larger wetlands, and then it goes underneath the road and then feeds into this pond. So this pond has an exit, which periodically has been, there's been beavers that have been active there damming it up. But I think pretty much that the water level stays stationary because it's got an inlet and an outlet. I don't think that it, diminishes and,
Okay.
so that there's a drastic change. But it's like any pond, it's silting in over time, and at some point, they're either gonna have to decide to dredge it, or it's just gonna silt in.
Are there any other boats or docks on that pond?
There are,
Ah. And do we know what they are? Are they permanent or floating or?
I am not aware
Removable.
of any, there've been no permits issued in the 20 years that I've been here for anything that's there, but those houses have been there for a long time. So,
Right. And the 28 years I've been on, nothing, we haven't had an application for that in that period of time either, so.
So
Well,
if,
go
I
ahead.
guess the question, one of the questions I would have is, what do you do with the boat in the wintertime? How do you get it out? I mean, I would imagine they don't leave a boat in there through the wintertime.
With a winch. You have a boat trailer, you back it in, you pull the boat
I
onto
don't
the,
think it's that big a boat. I think I'll ask him if he can carry it.
two people come and lift it up. I don't know.
I got the impression it was a fairly small boat. So.
Well, I guess the best thing is, give us a plan. Let's see, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
And then a narrative with it to describe how the boat would get in and out and
Yes.
all that other stuff. Okay.
And also, depending on what's the plan is, how it's going to get constructed and
Mhm.
materials are brought in and, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I guess we need to know. I think Chris, didn't he request permission to like mulch a path to the pond? And
Yes.
the concern would be whether that has to be expanded or something different has to be done with that in order to use the dock.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody have anything else on this? All right. No other enforcement issues, Chris?
Nope. That's enough.
That's good. Yeah, exactly. Well, we don't have any site inspections. I mean, we had talked generally about on the Ryther matter, Estra matter, whether we want to go out there, but we really don't have anything to see yet. So we can make that decision next month. Don't have any minutes left. Anybody have anything else we need to discuss?
Been quiet. Vote on May 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. And when do we get to do this in person?
I know. What's
I
your
haven't heard anything on that. As far
No,
as
state's open May 1st. State's opening up. Just have to wear
I
masks
don't know
inside.
that the town hall's opening up. I mean, we're open to people coming in, but there haven't been any large meetings here.
We're gonna have the Memorial Day ceremony, May 31st, except if it's raining, that it will not be indoors. So I guess they're gonna space the chairs for the 20 or 30 people that generally attend. And, outside with 6 feet or whatever they plan to do. So that's opening up in that respect.
Anyway,
hopefully by September, we'll be back to having in-person meetings. That would be nice.
yeah, that would be
We'll
good.
see.
That would be good.
All right. Anybody have anything else? I'm sorry.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right, then we have a motion to adjourn. It's 8:00.
I'll make a motion
I'll
to
make the
adjourn.
motion. Okay,
Okay.
whoever.
Barry.
Jack got it. Barry seconded. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions. Okay, thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. And
No
we'll see you
problem.
next month. Take care.
Absolutely.
Take good care,
Take care.
guys.
Yep, bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank
See you later.
Bye, Joey.